Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher have joined us here in the studio. Gary, the facts are it's a 2-1 win, 3 points, and moved to second place, 4 points behind the leaders. Does it feel like more than that, though?
I think so, because I think to beat Liverpool's tough. And I think to put a performance like that in when you most need it is a sign of a champion team. I think they have struggled in these last few weeks. They've re-established a bit of authority tonight. Obviously, it doesn't determine the outcome of the title, but there was a desperation in this stadium tonight. I've never seen the stadium have an atmosphere like this. I mean, I've not been to every game, as you can imagine, over the last 25 years.
How welcome are you?
but it is the best I've ever seen the atmosphere. From minute one, they never let go the whole game. There's a 5-minute period after Liverpool scored, but they responded, and Bernardo Silva, Fernandinho, they were unreal actually in central midfield. The tackling, the running, it was fantastic. They were desperate to win.
And as much as the support were desperate to win, Vincent Kompany said earlier that the players were, that it was a performance that came from their gut. Is that something that City have maybe needed to add to their game, that fire, that extra level of passion to the beautiful football we know they can play?
Well, maybe last season because it felt so easy for them, we maybe didn't see performances like that. You mentioned the atmosphere in the crowd, but in terms of actually, if City go on to win the title and they come from behind and it goes to the wire, it may actually feel better than winning it last season. It almost felt done at this time. But I echo what Gary mentioned there, the midfield. That was where it was won and lost, the difference in quality there also. And I think Pep Guardiola called it on in after the last game, so we have to win. You don't normally see a manager say that and put that pressure sort of onto his players, where he felt like a draw would be a defeat, and then they got the required performance. It felt like it was a cup final for City, and that's not saying Liverpool didn't give everything, but there was just something extra about City tonight where it felt like they were all out. It had to be a win, and you could just see that in the desire and the quality of the football.
In terms of the match stats, there's not too much to choose between the two sides. Obviously, Manchester City with the win in the game, 9 attempts compared to 7 for Liverpool. Liverpool with 5 on target compared to 4 for Manchester City. But the more interesting one there is the possession stats, because it's the first time in 97 Premier League games in charge of Manchester City that Pep Guardiola's side has had less possession than their opponent. Does that tell us anything, Graeme, do you think? Does it tell us that they're playing differently?
A great indicator. I mean, you can have all the possession in your own half and not be threatening. But I think, we know Liverpool are a really good team. I think City showed them respect. They dropped off. They would attempt to press high. When it didn't work, they would drop off and show Liverpool great respect. So the possession stat's not something you can point to as a black and white and say that's a fact. They were better at this or not so good at that. I think the best team won tonight. I think they played better football. I'd maybe 3 or 4 of the best players on the pitch in the City team. I thought the 2 centre halves, Stones and Vincent Kompany, were outstanding. Little Bernardo Silva in midfield was fabulous. And of course the centre midfield player that we were talking about before the game, I think he's just... Fernandinho is easily the best central midfield player in our country right now. And the amount of work he gets through is overlooked by the technique he has as well. When he wins it and he puts a tackle in, he gets his head up and generally makes the best pass that's on offer.
Is that what we're sometimes missing in analysing this Manchester City side? Is the hard work that goes into those spectacular performances?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, Sergio Aguero's the quality show for his goal, but Fernandinho is instrumental in that team. I don't think they get the performance and the victory tonight if he doesn't play, and he showed it at times.